and everything's working. And then I will explain what I'm doing. Doing some animals and hats. Well, it's like animals and hats, but it's going to be animals and crowns. I think that's fun. Yeah. Oh, since it's spooky season, let me see how much of this that's too much. Let's zoom you in. Turn you a little bit. Okay. All right. Yeah. So today I'm going to do part of like animals and hats. It's like the extended version. I'm doing animals and crowns. That's the plan anyway. I almost always start veering off into doing other things, but that's all right. Does this sound? Okay. Let's do, since it's spooky season, let's do let's do a skull. Let's do a human skull. And I'll put a crown on that. So this will be the crown of the head. Skulls are a little complicated because they don't look like faces. They don't look like people, and they don't sit like, because, well, you have two different types of skull, right? You have bottom with bottom jaw, and you have without bottom jaw, and that can be really how the skull sits and how everything works is totally different. So I think let's do a no bottom jaw. It makes it like older, look more like archaeology. It's not like some presentation piece. It's more of a like something found. So this is the hard part for me on skulls because it doesn't look the same as a face, which I have a hard time lining up where the eyes and everything are. So bear with me. I shouldn't have done this one without a practice first. I'll embarrass myself. Well, that's all right. Sometimes you just keep going until you get it right. And that's all good. Okay, I think that's looking correct. Draw the king of carrot flowers. Oh man, that's so good. When you were young, you were the king of carrot flowers. Carrots, man. Carrot leaves are so annoying to draw. I did a logo years ago for somebody, and it was a bunch of carrots sitting like just fresh pulled from the ground and like sitting on a table. And oh my goodness, those dang carrot leaves, man, they're so crazy, so intricate. It was like a little bit nuts. All right, let's just shade this in a little dark to see what it looks like. You have this part, like, I don't know the parts of the skull. I should learn them. I know this is like the orbital or something. Unsure. All right, it's really coming together. I don't think I messed anything up particularly. Hi, Rainier. Welcome. All right. Okay. Yeah. So, what are the do we continue to call, so this is like the orbital bone, right? But it's just part of the skull. Do we continue to call different parts of the skull different bones, like after they merge together? Like your skull is different plates when you're young, and then it knits itself together to become one bone. Okay, so here's the crown. We need to find a ground. Okay, that's the ground. So let's do the skull, the crown. because it would be too big, right, for the skull if it was made for the man. So like you could do it. Let me erase some of this, all these lines. Let's like think about it for a second. Ethmoid, zygomatic nasal cochna. These are different bones that are the skull. Okay, so one thing that could be fun, and I like kind of sketched it out, and I was like, oh, that'll be dumb. But now I'm looking at it, is just like having it covered. No, because then you're just covering the whole thing we just drew. And that's no fun. So yeah, let's do it this way, where it's like, it's caught on the eyebrow bone. It's like falling down to the eyebrow bone, but is otherwise being held up by, just like it's sitting on the ground. So this would be up. Yeah, so the crown is all facing one direction, so I'm just drawing some parallel lines to like make the cylinder that will be the skull, the crown, and in that way I make sure like everything's, I give myself basically like a template or something so I can see what's going on. And now we come up with like some interesting, because this is the first crown, let's try to keep it a little simple. And because like this is somebody who's long gone, so like probably their crown is from a long time ago, and maybe that means it's less intricate. Well, it doesn't really, right? So I'm doing, this will be where the valleys are, and then up here I'm going to do where the peaks are. Now I'm just going to kind of draw another, this one will be erased, but it's another like circle in the top here where the peaks of the crown will land. All right, that's looking good. Oh my gosh, I have no idea when this started, and like I started noticing it probably a month or so ago, that I just like, when I erase things I make sci-fi noises. I've mentioned it on stream before, but I just like, it's so weird to me. I like it. I could probably stop if I cared to, but I just think it's interesting. There we go. I couldn't get this right. I just kept, there we go. That feels, that's the back, that's the front. Okay, that feels right. Every once in a while I draw like a circle like this in the sky for something, and then I accidentally get confused about which one's the front and which one's the back. And what it does, it makes it look like the perspective gets totally wankered. I meant, no, I don't know. I just said that. All right, let's do classic kind of, ooh, we can do like jestery crown. Let's do jestery crown, where like it has little like circles reminiscent of bells on the top. Heck yeah. Okay, and then we have to figure out the back, but let's nail down the front real quick. This looks pretty good. Just get it nice and dark so it looks good, so it looks right. You can zoom in a tiny bit. No, that looks fine. But if I'm too far away ever or too close, please let me know, because I can't see the screen really while I'm working. So I have to use sort of like best guess. I can either see the screen or the chat. Okay, so now we'll have it come up the back. So probably like here. Oh, here. Oh yeah, it's low. Here, then like here. Here, you won't really see it. Here, and then here. Okay, I think that's good. It might be a little too low. No, I think it's good. I think it's right. A little bit higher. I'll move them up a little bit because that feels... All right. I'm going to erase some of the guidelines. And that'll just make it easier for me to see. I am going to raise them all up a little bit. It just, even though I said it was fine, it feels wrong. So sometimes the guides work and sometimes they don't. And sometimes you'll do this and you'll be like, I'm just going to make it, I think it's right better this way. And then like 15 steps down the line, you're like, oh, nope, I definitely messed up. I should have done it the other way. All of a sudden I see it now. But what are you going to do? Sometimes, like, in that situation, what I try to think is like, it's better to have changed it thinking I was right and then really learn to the lesson that I was wrong than leaving it and like not really interacting with that thought about like, oh no, it's messed up. And then like never having the opportunity to really learn more solidly what is right. That's how I try to look at it anyway. All right. I think this prom is coming together. Oh, Jughead. Yeah, a little bit Jughead. All right. Let's do a little cleanup. Hide this outline of the skull here. Yeah. Now we can get back to doing animals. I just thought since it was spooky season, I have a little skull I keep on my desk that my Nana bought me when I was a little kid. And so I saw that and I was thinking like the skull would look good on a crown. Aesthetic. And so I thought we'd do that real quick before we got started in earnest. And do a little shading just to make sure it looks like the skull's inside the crown. And we'll do a little cleanup, make sure my lines are all actually there. But this is just a doodle. It's not going to be a finished project, probably. All right, fun. Let's do another animal. If anyone has any suggestions, we could at least consider an animal. That would be cool. If not, don't worry. I'm going to start with like a bluebird and we'll figure stuff out. Oh, sorry if my head just hit the phone. It's so funny. I always get so thirsty when I'm doing the stream. And I guess it's because I'm talking. And I wonder, do you get like, I'm like, it, and then I have to stop talking and that makes me like notice it. And if I'm this thirsty all the time or what? All right. I was thinking a bluebird with a tiny little skull could be really cute. I think bluebirds are relatively small. So let's, for birds even, I think they're pretty small. But let's give it like a little fence post to sit on. I guess we'll make the fence post big so that the bluebird can be relatively big. I think a bluebird, even on a fence post like this, is gonna be pretty small. I guess you won't be able to tell it's blue because of how black and white works. But, you know, just imagine it. Or, you know, tell yourself it's blue. Okay, I think we probably have a blue pencil. We could give it a little. Ooh, I like gave it a raptor beak. It's a tiny little seed eater. So it probably has like a tiny little, if that's, here we go, tiny little beak. Oh gosh, I think my internet is turned off. Oh. Okay, I'm just plugging something in. There we go. Oh my gosh, I plugged myself. Okay. Back to the bluebird. Let's see. So there's also different kinds of bluebirds, right? I don't think there's just one species of bluebird. I think there's multiple. But let's do... This feels... There, I got it. I couldn't get a beak right, but I think that's it. Okay, I feel like birds always like have like Egyptian eyes. It's not always true, but for some reason that's how it sits with me. Okay, give it a little life in the eye. That's too big, I think. Just grab the edges. Okay, I think that's a good shape to start with the bluebird. We'll do its legs. This one will be hidden behind the tree or whatever. And then this one can be like holding on. Like birds have the craziest little claws. Probably can't see that one. Something like that. Oh, how's the... Okay. Yeah. So today I woke up and there's this crazy honking and beeping, and it's Saturday and we've only lived in the apartment we're in for like 9 days. I think we've only slept here 8 days. So I was like, oh, I guess it's sometimes this loud. This is just a normal thing for this type of day a week or whatever. But later I learned there was a protest. And so it was just people being mad that, like, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I suspect it was loud because of the protest. I was saying, like, oh, it's people being mad, but I don't know that. Like, maybe it was people being solidarity. Maybe it was unrelated to the protests at all. I feel like I really like to do the details of like other things. Oh, we could have had him sitting on top of a crown. If we do another bird, that's what we'll do. I think that'll look really good. But we're going to give him a tiny little crown. Like that. And this one will be a little bit fancier. We can do it, have this thing. And we'll have different height pieces. There we go. That'll be the front. We'll have these. We'll have a little back. Sort of pointing like up and away from his face. And then this part, we'll do a little, I don't know, what would a bird have up here, like an acorn? some sort of symbol of freedom. I mean, freedom of hunger. Maybe like a bell, because like cats wearing bells like saves lots and lots of birds' lives. And so you could have like a bell on the like as the, gosh, what is this piece called on top of a hat, on top of a, like, whatever this is called, on top of the crown's little, man, there must be so many words for talking about crowns and like what the different parts of them are and how they're put together, because when people are like wealthy, right, and especially when they're ruling class, not just like wealthy but ruling class, like they create entire industries around the things that they do. And so there was a ruling class where a bunch of people wore crowns, right, and like had crowns made and did all this stuff, and it was at a time when there wasn't machinery, and they were some like really amazing metalwork, really amazing jewel setting. So they must have had like jargon and all sorts of crazy language surrounding like the making and maintaining of crowns. And I think that's fascinating to me. All right, yeah, we'll do a bell. Like, nah, let's just do nothing. Just like that. That'll be okay. Let's just clean up this bird, give him some feathers down here. Maybe clean up, give him a little shadow for the wing. Make the body come all together right here. We have some, like the suggestion of other things from the sketch, and clean up those from the sketching phase. All right, I'm starting to like it. I think there's a lot of like texture, right? Like that you could go in and do for a bird. Just like an animal with fur is the same thing. For me, it's been really hard to find a good balance of like how much texture to do and how much to leave out. So I try about this much, like the suggestion of texture. Oop, that the whole thing is textured, but not texturing the whole thing, even though like that's definitely what I want to do almost every time. Even like I'm always like, oh, there should just be a little bit more. Oh, there should just be a little bit more. Okay, let's shadow the underside of this part. Oh, thank you so much. Oh man, I can't. Mattox, how are you? No problem. Don't worry about not appearing. I have been all over the place, like doing live streams and not doing live streams. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. I was saying earlier, I've only slept in this apartment for like 8 days. We moved here like almost 2 weeks ago, or more than 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so I was like live streaming from hotel rooms and like my family's closet. That's the best place for light. Oh, I think this is really good. Let's do just a touch of color for the bluebird. I don't want to spend a ton of time like actually coloring this, because I would prefer to do another sketch of another animal. But I feel like especially for birds whose name to the color, it can really elevate it to just even give it a little tint, and it helps me to want to work on them later if I do want to turn them into something. So I'm just going to do that now. give that a little, let's try this other one. Yeah, that's a good little mix. Yeah, so I don't want to get like super detailed with the color. But having a little something can be really nice. Oh, hey, Aubrey. Yeah, it was like 3 days ago when you were last here. But, you know, you're often here. No one's keeping track. You can come and go as you please. I always enjoy having you guys on here, but like, I understand, like, everyone's got stuff to do. Even if that stuff is just like, I don't wanna. Okay, my head is there again. And 13 says it's going to be Halloween. Do you know what you're going to be? Yeah, no, 13 days till Halloween. I don't think I'm going to dress up this year. I'm very busy. I have to go down. I'm trying to do a million things at once. And so I haven't prepared. I always think like, oh, I'll dress up this year, and I just never. Lately, I just haven't had the chance. I'm like I'm doing a lot of color on this one, but it feels necessary. I think I've dressed up most as the Mad Hatter. I've dressed up as the Mad Hatter, I think, 3 times for Halloween. Yeah, what I can try to do about the head focus thing is like move the camera down just a little bit. Let me just realign it. Okay, we'll just get this lined up. Sorry about that. And now if my head tries to go in frame, I'll just hit it. And that's probably better. All right, one more. I was going to be done. Draw something else. Let's draw something else. What is... Any suggestions for another animal, or I can do... what could I do? I feel like I had a million animals and now I'm like at a loss. I don't think I've drawn a giraffe. So we can do a giraffe with a crown. One of the first animals, and I think it was like during the Animals and Hats series, but I don't even know if I put a hat on them. Like a walrus. That could be fun with a crown. All right, that's fun. What do we think? Yeah, let's do giraffe, right? Why not? Let me take a drink. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I know a factoid about giraffes. I know a factoid about factoids, which is also interesting. Oh no. Hope you feel better, Sapley. Welcome and welcome back. Yeah, I streamed the last few days because we've been back home, and I streamed like, I don't know. I started streaming after a few days of travel. I was like, let's just try to do it. I think it's you know, I gotta do it if I'm gonna do it, even if I'm lost, lost at, lost at sea. So, and giraffe, from a giraffe, sorry, gotta go smaller. From a giraffe's shoulder to its foot, right, the shoulder to the floor, is the same distance as from its head to its shoulder. Like, they're just as tall in the neck as they are in the body. That's a thing about giraffes, I know. And it feels like they're not, but that's just an optical illusion. So I don't think we can do the giraffe like this. Yeah, yeah, take care of yourself. Always best to take care of yourself. But thanks for stopping in. If you can make it back, that'd be awesome. If not, so I'll see you next time. Man, yeah, studying for exams. Rough. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'll do the giraffe. Um, and we'll start like we'll do the body like here. So then we can do the head and the neck. That's still so high. All right, let's do just the neck, the head and neck. Because I want to be able to draw it with like enough detail for it to be interesting. And I don't want to have to bust out a gigantic piece of paper. Somebody once gave me a yeah, thanks so much for stopping in, Sapling. Somebody once gave me advice on drawing, probably an art teacher, and they said like if you start drawing something and it gets to you get to the edge of the page, don't like and you like if you're drawing something, right, and it's down here, let's say, and you get to the edge, you're drawing a guy or a person, and they're like waving and they have crutches or whatever it is, and you get to the end of the page, don't like scrunch up your drawing to make them fit into the edge of the page. Like just draw either off the page or go get another piece of paper and tape them together. And like I don't think I've ever gone and gotten another piece of paper and taped them together. Wait, no, I probably have. And then you scan it in later and you turn it digital and fit it all together like that. But yeah, it's definitely good advice. All right, I've like gone into some weird compromise. I'm doing like a juvenile giraffe, I think, about like this. I wonder, do they lift their tails up at all? This one does. Okay. And I'll say his feet go down to there, so his neck will go up to here. And then you have the head. Now, like, there's a lot of animals. I feel like there's just like a couple of big animal shapes. I feel like a giraffe's animal head shape is sort of like a deer more than, I don't know, for some reason I think of them as like camels or cows. Oh, you know what? In some, I don't know which language it is. I used to know this factoid, but I don't. But in one of the big languages, they called deer. I mean, they called giraffes like spotted camel or like tall camel or leg camel or something like that. And so I think that's why I think of it as a camel. Giraffes famously have thick eyelashes, man. They're like, "Oh, hey, mascara? Who's she?" All right. So I think one fun thing about doing the giraffe is they have so much stuff coming out of the top of their head. You got these, and you got their like nodules. I don't know what these are. Wait, that's fascinating. What are these for? I know like how tall giraffes are. I know that in some language people call them the something camel, which is not that great of a detail. But I know they have like crazy eyelashes. I know their tongues are really long. Um, but I don't know. I know they look toothy, like what these nodules are. I'm sure I must have learned in school. Nodule away. But yeah, so you have the nodules. So I think that could make, and the big ears. So I think that can make a crown interesting. I was thinking like a prince, this because it's a juvenile giraffe, or maybe even a princess. So like kind of more like a tiara dealio. Yeah, let's do a tiara dealio. Tiaras are so hard, man. I try to draw a tiara every couple of months, and it's so hard. I don't know why I have such trouble with it. Every time I look at a tiara in real life afterwards, I'm always like, "Oh, yeah, it's just too fancy." Okay. So I'm going to go somewhere in between. Let people imagine the fanciness for themselves. I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit. I kind of lost the giraffe's eyes. Or I got lost in her eyes. No, just kidding. Just kidding. All right. We'll just tighten that up a little bit. Get the eyes back. We'll have the ears. So the the good thing about a tiara, right, is it doesn't have to encompass the head. So it's like clipped in, it's held on by clipping into the top. So we can get some, so we don't have to figure out what to do with the ears and the nodules. We can just wrap it around. Oh yeah, I have it right here. I use black 2B Pentel Ein 0.5. That's my number one. I have a couple of other pencils. I have like a regular number two that I sometimes use for if I'm like trying to erase something. If I'm like, I should use it every time I do like a preliminary sketch, but I don't always because it's much easier to erase and it leaves clean lines or it leaves little to no lines. But I don't know. There's something about the 2B Pentel Ein that really like it. I used to describe it as having as like in a more inky feel than regular pencil, like pencil lead. I think that's true. It's like it does feel very smooth in a way. Um, yeah. Oh, and welcome, Black Bear, Blackbeard, Blackberry, Black Bear. I got it right the first time. All right, I'm just like adding. I get crazy and I start adding like the frilliest frills because I'm like, oh no, tiaras are too fancy. I'm doing it now. Okay, I'm just gonna put like some gems in it and call it a day. Let it be fancy with gems. All right, that's good. Let's do the giraffe's nose a little bit. darker. Yeah, so that's also really true. It goes from really light to heavy very easily. I really like how you can get it dark pretty quickly without too much pressure. Another trick that has really helped me, and I don't know, I was like that helps control the not temperature, shade of the pencil is when I started working with dip pens. You must these guys. I because there's this pressure sensitive and like they push to open, you don't want to be pushing like this onto a hard surface. So everyone said, don't do it on a hard surface. Don't do it on a hard surface. Get like a blotter desktop or something. And I was like, well, like blotter paper desktops, like blotter paper used to be incredibly expensive, like back in the day, like, 100 years ago or whatever. I was like, it's not, that can't be the solution. Um, what did people use before blotter paper? And they said like all sorts of stuff, cloth, felt, stuff like that. So I just get white felt and it just adds enough give to the desk that you can push hard and you're not going to like, the paper will bend underneath it instead of just lying flat on the table. And yeah, it's been huge. It really has helped me do all sorts of stuff. I really like it. Can't tell if I got this leg right or not, but I guess that's not really at issue here because these legs, they're like not really in the shot. Let's just go do the front of the neck. That's more important. They have probably one of these guys, right? Because their heads are so far away. I guess giraffes are also fascinating because like their legs are so spindly. And it's not just that they have really long legs, but they feel disproportionately spindly compared to the rest of their bodies. Oh yeah, my pleasure. I should probably do like a long video where I like talk about uh my setup. I think I tried to do that once before and I was like, this is not right. But maybe I'll do it now. I'm like much more into the drawing side of upload. Like I wasn't always uploading drawing videos, and so I think that was part of it. And now I am almost entirely uploading drawing videos. So it could be cool to do a like my desktop setup. Oh, that's the giraffe part. Okay. So I'm again having. Okay, let's just do a little cleanup because I'm mixing up the crown, the tiara, and the giraffe. Let's get in there. And that's good. That's sort of what I wanted to happen. It to be like really interesting and intricate up in here, this area. But after I'm done working on it, not while I'm working on it, because I don't want to make silly errors and have to go back and do the work again. Oh yeah, it's okay, okay. It's much easier to tell. We'll do, they say, I read so much about line work and like thickness and what it does and how to control it. And like so much advice was um, people do it all sorts of ways. So like have fun. And that's not really helpful. Like you'll find your own way to do it. And like, yeah, of course I'm going to find my own way to do it. That's the entire process of doing art as a whole. I think I made their eyes too small. I think their eyes come more to the middle. Yeah, I think, there we go. I think that's better. And yeah, it is true. People do it all sorts of ways, but I did not find that helpful when I was learning how to control, um, or what I like, how to choose my line weight, right? I'm pretty good at controlling my line weight, but I really wasn't good at, and maybe I'm not still good at it, but I wasn't very good at choosing my eye weight. So let's see. We're going to do the dots, at least some of them. We can end over here or something. We don't have to do the whole thing. The spots. But like also animals are all different spots, right? There's like, is it cheetah that sort of has like a hole? It looks like almost like a horseshoe that's trying to come together. And then I forget who it is, but they have three like kind of tails coming off the side. So hang on, let's see what giraffe are, because like getting the spots wrong can make all the difference. Okay, you know what? I'm remembering that I have looked up giraffes' spots recently, and I think there's two or three different patterns. I'm not sure if they are in different species or if it's just like, like it's like being having blue eyes or blonde hair or brown eyes or brown hair, or green eyes or green hair. It's like genetic, right? It's just a regular trait in the family. But I just looked some up, and it looks like the most common one, it's like basically sort of random, but there's four sides to it. And they're not necessarily rectangles, but they have about four sides. And I think I'm not getting circly enough on these. Man, one time I did giraffes and I was like working really diligently to get the spots, and I had been way more zoomed in than I thought. And so I had basically made like the tiniest of giraffe spots. Uh, it was digital. I made them so tiny, and yeah, so I had to blow them up and make them, enlarge them. Okay, I'm not hating this. This feels mostly right. Okay, and it's good that they're not really small. Although if they were smaller and like more of a like a texture instead of a pattern, then we would be able to just sort of suggest the texture like we did on the last bird, on the bird, where you just have to do a little bit all around, and it kind of tricks the viewer into doing that work for you. I don't think it's an optical illusion so much as just, I don't know, how brains work. It's like sort of the same as suspension of disbelief in my mind. Giraffes' faces aren't spotted. Mustn't be, mustn't be. Okay, I think that's giraffe. I can't think of any giraffe puns. What a pain in the neck. Okay. I'm getting to, they're too, like, uniform or something. There we go. I'm just gonna go to the butt and stop there. Okay, I'm not gonna shade these in. That would be the work of future Chris working on digital. Is my head in the way again? But let's color the crown. Oh, it's a tiara. Shoot. All right, let's color the giraffe. We'll do these three. We'll do, like brown in the center of the ears where it's dark, and on the tops of these um, bollards. Wait, is that what? So like the thing that are outside of stores to keep cars from like driving into them. Those are bulliard. Now I'm getting confused because of my accent. Uh, bollards, and what are the things that you attach velvet ropes to called? Like, I think it's related. Bow? I don't know. Maybe it's the same. Maybe it's the same word. Bollards. I could see that. All right, looks very giraffe-y. I'm just going to do a tiny bit. Since this is silver and I don't have silver, I'm just going to do a tiny bit of blue, a blue tint. And that'll make it like sort of appear silver. We can do a little dots of color for the gems, some amethyst, some ruby, a couple of sapphire. There we go. All right, let's do another animal. Okay, let me see. I know someone suggested another animal. I'm just scrolling up a little to see if anyone did, if I'm making it up. Pylons. No. I mean, I think like that might technically be true, Elstefan. I think it might be a pylon. Okay. But I think like pylon might be an umbrella term. Oh, I suggested a walrus. What about an otter? I don't want to do another bird. So I don't want to do like a pigeon. Let's do a walrus. I think a walrus wearing a crown like that really like says something to me. All right, so walruses sort of look like just like a sausage, right? It's really big on one end, and then their heads are like, they look like, I don't know, like little smooth puppy heads. And they get like the big garumphy jowls. And then some of the males have the, what's it called that come down? The tusks. the pylons? Okay. I think this is checking out so far. Uh, I don't remember. I accidentally made this walrus look evil instead of kind. It's such a small change in the eye. And then I don't think walruses have external ears, or at least we can't see them. Like, could you imagine walrus had just like ears? They'd probably freeze off. Walruses live in the very cold. And then they have like fat flippers because they're pretty strong, right? They slam into each other. They fight. That's like their whole hierarchy is like pushing each other around. I always think of it as sort of like the sumo wrestlers of the sea. And then they have like little feet, like like feet flippers. Ah, okay. That's not terrible. So I was thinking two things. It might be fun to do an animal holding a crown in its jowls, I mean, in its mouth. Uh, that was one thing. And the other one was maybe, I don't know if it'll work with the walrus though. Because, like, what does a walrus look like if it's holding something in its mouth? Is it jowls like way up here? And then they're like, hang on, let's do a little sketch of it and see what it looks like. That's the crown. Oh yeah, I'm pretty far left. I'd say, I'd say. Okay, so we did a grocery shop today and we just moved into this apartment, new grocery store. And usually when you move house, you take all the stuff from the last place, all the kitchen stuff. But we had been living with our in-laws and they also moved. So they took all the kitchen stuff. And we still had kitchen stuff from the last time we moved, when we moved in with them. But that's old. It hasn't been used in quite a while. So we've been having to buy like some staples that you don't necessarily think about. Like vinegar and like mirin. All right, I think it looks fine. I think this is about what it would look like. And I think it looks fine. The walrus has like really textured face. So let's texture them up. And I think I drew the tusks like pretty straight. I don't know if that's always the case, but let's just we'll give him a little twist. Make him a little interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay, I think this walrus is really coming along. Oh, hey, Nasir. Welcome, welcome. Wait, did you ask me to call you something else? I'm sorry if that's true. I don't remember. No, okay, you didn't. That's good. Somebody else then. Man, I think the walrus's back, like flipper feet, I don't know, man. They're kind of weirding me out. Okay. Okay, I think the main body of this big boy. All right, where's the horizon? Okay, I think the main body of this big boy is good. Let us get working on the crown a little bit. All right, let's turn it like this. Let's see if this changes how we see the crown. So this has been, there are things that like this is pretty standard for some cultures' crowns, especially like different offices besides the king or queen, and also like different situations. Just like people today will wear different wedding bands depending on like what they're doing. Like if you're working construction, you don't want to wear your pretty wedding band. So you'll wear like a silicone one. Or if you're like out, if your ring is like really fancy and really delicate, you might not wear it day to day. You might wear like a more utilitarian one. It's the same with kings. Like, it's interesting. Is a crown a piece of jewelry or is it a piece of clothing? I I hadn't thought about that. I'm sure people have thought about this. I'm gonna go pretty straightforward this one, just like a little bit of peak in the front, and then not really any adornment besides that. So I'll do just like something like that. And I'll start here same way, in and out and in and out. And we're also looking at the inside of the crown here, so we probably wouldn't be seeing any jewels or anything like that, even though they might be on the other side. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Also, I think this feels very like watery and oh, could we make this like more reminiscent of say like Neptune? Definitely jewelry. That's how I feel. Definitely jewelry. Well, I'm pretty sure it's jewelry. So I know that the royal family of England discusses the tiaras as jewelry. I think like it must be jewelry because they literally call it the crown jewels, right? So it's not the crown hat. Okay, so I'm going to give this a little shadow to represent, to make it a little bit look more 3D, just on the bottom here. And then I wanted to do a little like trident as the top to suggest that this is like King Neptune's crown. And that's why a walrus has it. Or, you know, this walrus stole the crown from King Neptune, or the walrus is King Neptune. Okay. And then let's add like a little reflection in here. And you already got something there. Oop. Sorry, phone. Okay, that trident, once I turned it right side up, doesn't quite look right. Let's try it again. Okay, that looks better. I think this walrus did a good job. You did a great job, buddy. Yeah, walruses are scary. I've never seen a walrus. I think they live in much colder water than anywhere I've been. But I've seen a seal. They are interesting. I've never seen them like in groups, but I've seen them on the Atlantic Sea, on the Atlantic shore. I've seen them just like chilling on the beach by themselves. They definitely will like, they are very smart and they are very sure of themselves. So they're not afraid of you at all. They're just like, they're looking at you like, what is this crazy animal going to do if it gets too close to me? And, you know, I think I'm looking at them the same way. And then we're like, hey, thank you so much, Doma. I'm doing the a bunch of animals in crowns today. We did a walrus. We did a little giraffe in a crown. And are gonna work on something else. So I did a skull and a crown. That's not as exciting. Okay. Oh, I did a bluebird. Where's the bluebird? Oh, and we did a bluebird. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm probably going to do at least one more right now. I'll color the walrus a little bit. Just a hint of color. Where's... Oh, the brown's already out. Oh, I forgot. I don't know where my pencil sharpener is. It's probably like right here. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do like prints and stuff. I mean, I just drew these right now, but I have a lot of drawings that I like keep meaning to make prints of. We had an Etsy, or we have an Etsy to sell other papercraft stuff we do, and we talked about putting some prints for sale up there, and we just never did. I think I'm like embarrassed or like nervous. It's like a fear of rejection, right? Like I'm gonna put them up and then everyone's gonna hate them. But it's silly. It's not a huge amount of work for me to put them up. And maybe I would have already, except we've been in the process of moving and also moving our family, our parents and their parent, not, and their parents, our parents and that kind of family. And so it's just been a process. I think we talked about, my wife and I, we talked about doing a Patreon and having like just even a free tier, um, and like having video drawing requests. Like if you're in the free tier of Patreon, then you could request a drawing of like an animal or something relatively simple. Or, yeah, not simple, but like, I don't know. Yeah, simple, right? I don't want it to be like a crazy prompt or anything. And then we would draw one of those a month and draw it. Oh, we do a drawing where we chose what we were drawing, the drawing. And then if I drew the drawing, it would be a drawing of the drawing. And then if we had a bunch of drawings of the drawing, and we did a drawing of that, then we could do a drawing, a drawing of drawings. Yeah. But actually, yeah, I'll try to do that in the next couple of days because it's not a, I think Patreon is free if you don't charge anything. So like, that'd be cool. And then we were talking about doing another, like, you know, for like $1 or whatever, we'd send you like an actual like print of stuff. But if that's stupid. But yeah, so like we were thinking if like $1 or $2, we'd have to like do the math to check out, see what it would be worth, or see how much it goes. Oh, hi, Elstefan. Then we could send everybody a postcard of one of the drawings that we do every month, that I do. One of the drawings that I did for the month, printed on a postcard. It would probably, I think it would cost $2 to send those out to people. So we might do something like that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna commit to doing it on the stream. And now, like, even though it feels weird to me, I feel nervous. I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna do it. Sorry, I'm taking a sip of seltzer. All right, I want to do at least one more. Let's do another bird. Yeah, I wanted to do a bird on top of the crown. All right. So you know how like in America we have like different English dialects, accents more, but it's a little bit of both, a little bit of dialects, a little bit of accents. And this object here that I'm off screen, that I am drawing. Hang on, there's like a bunch of different pronunciations, and some people get really mad at the different pronunciations. Like there's a lot of words that everyone pronounces a little bit differently, and that's whatever, right? Who cares? But when people get mad about it, that's when I think it's like interesting. Like, what are you talking about? I've said this word a few different ways in my life. And now, like, when I was young, when I learned it one way, and I thought that's how everyone said it. And then my family was like, "Are you saying this? Why are you saying that? Like, that's so weird. Where'd you pick that up?" And like from them, that's how they say it. But then I changed a little bit to what they said, and then like I learned to read, and I was like, oh, I have to spell this word. I'm just going to say it like this. And I like, because I was reading and somebody made fun of me in school. Like, your family makes fun of you for the way you said something, whatever. You literally taught me how to say it. But like somebody in school made fun of me for saying it this like a weird way. All of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, a pariah. I'm an outcast. What? I will never have any friends. That's what school's like. So yeah, so I'm drawing crowns today. I don't pronounce this word crown, but a lot of people do. Um, like I said, in the United States, I call this a crayon or a crayon if I really want to make sure people understand what I'm saying. Like sometimes I swallow that last syllable and I say crayon, but I'm saying crayon. I'm just not always pronouncing it like fully. But I know some people just say cran. Like they're not even trying to put that on at the end. It's just crayon. All right, this is a crayon, but people definitely call it a crown. So we got that out of the way. Crayon. Let's see. Okay, so for this one, we're going to do a crown. Not this, a crown, like a real crown. For the people who just came in, we're doing crowns, animals and crowns. And so we've done these today. We're doing another one. We're going to do a raven. Let's do a raven. Let's do a raven. Okay. So I think I want this crown to be pretty fancy. Let's get the horizon on. And then let's see. I'm trying to judge because this is going to determine how big the raven is, right? Let's draw the raven a little bit. Or crow. I know they're different, but I don't very well know the difference, if that makes sense. So I just kind of tried to do my best guess. I have heard, like from what I learned and when I do the research, I have heard bird scientist people say that like even people in the field will label one a raven when it's actually a crow and vice versa. So I think it's not super easy and people are a little and there's definitely wrong information out there, right? I've looked up like what's the difference between a raven and a crow? And then it says something and it seems like a reliable source and then like somebody else who studies the birds is like, no way, man, that doesn't make any sense. So you gotta I'm not well versed. I'm not a corvidologist. That would be my guest. That would be my guess on how to say how to what if someone who studies the corvids are. Corvids. Okay. So I think this is good. It feels right. It's the tail, has like a little fan to it. It's not straight, it goes like wah. And sometimes I draw the individual feathers for the tail because there's only like 5 or 6 that you can see, and that can make it look really nice. I try never to do that for the wings because they're like so overlapping and they're so dense and it can just get really out of control really fast if you start trying to draw all the little feathers in the wings. So just skip over that. Sometimes what I'll do is you just like add a little bit of this kind of texture, although not in the wings. Usually in the wings you want to add like a little bit of this like hint of feather instead of like hint of feather popping off like here in the head. If you want to add a little like feather detail, you can just kind of do a little like frill like this. So, yeah, in the direction of the way the feathers are going. But if you do that on the wing, it looks weird. So you do it want to do it. All right. So I'm happy I drew the crow first, but I'm still not really satisfied with his pose. So I'm just kind of adjusting that now, a little bit back, a little bit forth, see where I'm going wrong. Crow's eyes are like just big old circles. I'm saying crow. I think I am drawing a raven. So I forget. Some animals can see what you're looking at based on the way your eyes are pointing, right? You have like your iris and it points in different directions when you look at things without turning your head, for example. And some animals are like, yep, I understand what you're saying. I see where your eyes are looking, and I can also understand that that like means a thing. I think I think ravens are among the birds that do that. Oh, Melon, welcome. This is your first time here? No, I'm just kidding. I remember you from last time. I remember. I know, like, I don't, it's, I think dogs can't do it, but maybe it's ravens can't do it and dogs can. And like, otherwise, ravens are like much smarter than dogs, but they like don't have this ability to see where your eyes are pointing. I can't remember. It's one of those. It's one or the other. Okay, I guess I'm doing a little cloth thing again. Oh yeah, I was starting this like on the end here, but let's not. Let's start it a little bit further along. This is more complicated than I thought it would be. Okay, let's get some lines in the sand. Okay, these ones are going to be hidden mostly behind this cloth like bubble I put in here. Maybe I'll take the cloth bubble out. That also hides this back leg. Okay, I think that's right. Yeah.
Would you shout out the vlogs?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we are doing October. We always do, not always. So often in October, I do Inktober. I've done it 3 times, I think. Although this was before I was like posting anything, so they're lost to time. No, I think they might be. I have the file somewhere. Um, but last year when I just started doing the YouTube, we did Vlogtober where we like vlog every day in October, and it changed my relationship with YouTube, right? I all of a sudden I felt like much more comfortable talking on YouTube. I had been um, not struggling or anything, but it's just been a little shy. And so we're doing it again, but we're doing it on OddFud, which is the my wife's channel that I'm on sometimes. And so if you want to hear what we're doing day to day, if you want to see our October Vlogtober, you can check that out on OddFud. And that's just here. It's Odd FUD. That. And when you type that into YouTube, it'll say, "Do you mean odd food?" And just say no. They're weird. Yeah. So if you want to check that out, feel free. That's where we are during the days. You can see some of our crazy adventures moving in and all the crap that's been happening surrounding some of the drama, the family drama that's been dramaing. We don't get into too much detail about that, but we don't shy away exactly either. So yeah. I do some of the filming and I do some of the talking, but my wife does the editing on those and the posting. All right, I moved the crown. I just wasn't feeling it where it was. And I don't know, let's do like something crazy. Let's do like real legit. We'll do like gems. We'll have, okay, yeah. So let's have this be one, and then it goes like whoop, and I'll have this be one, and then this will be the opposite of that one. And then the rest of the crown is just like pretty straightforward, pretty straight down. Let's do that. And I think that is something we can manage, and we can make the crow actually look good sitting on the crown. I think the other way was just getting a little too complicated, and we were going to have trouble, or I was going to have trouble getting the crow, the raven, the crow, whomever, to sit correctly on it. Okay. Yeah, so I like this better. We can do some erasing. Let's erase the whole foot. Sorry if you can hear the sirens. I am unsure of what is going on. Okay. I grew up living in the country. And when you heard something like this, it was very rare. And it was like, oh gosh, like what's happening? Is everybody I know okay? Okay, so this is like straight forward. Okay. Yeah, so let's do like a gemstone setting on this, and like get something like interesting on here for the crow to put his feet on. Like I don't know, like a princess cut. I don't know what gemstones cuts are. I'm just trying to fake it a little bit. Okay, and then like the little talons that hold them in. That's not bad. We'll do a big one this way. I guess like I wonder if there's gems that are like they're cut specifically, right, for a crown, and like it wouldn't look right doing anything else, but because it's in the crown, there must be stuff like that, right? Like we talk about gemstones almost always, right, in rings. I guess sometimes we have ones set in necklaces and stuff like that, and they must have different different cuts. Huh. What is the study? What is the study or the of gemstone cutting and polishing? There must be something. We'll do another one of these on the other side. Okay, bop, 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 bop. How much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof. That one who is waggling its tail. Okay, we'll get the little prongs. I think this is cool too, because now you have the prongs of the crown holding on to the gem, sort of like talons, and then you'll have the talons of the raven holding on to the gem, sort of like the prongs. And there's something there. Okay, this crown ended up being a little bit more complicated, a little bit different than we started out. I think it's looking good. Oh, hey, Riley. Welcome, welcome. It's been a while, yeah? I can't remember if you've been here recently, but all right. Oh man, sci-fi sounds. I'm never gonna stop. I've just decided I'm a sci-fi sounds kind of guy. Yeah, it's not necessary yet, but as we get bigger, we will consider, we will definitely keep you in mind. But at the moment, it's no problem. It's unnecessary. We don't need one. But like I said, I do appreciate the offer. I know it's hard to find good help sometimes. So it's really nice to know that somebody is offering. So I think there's something called a pressure setting in gems, and you'll see it sometimes. Like the gemstone is here. I'm just doing a really rough, and then around the edges is all these little dots. All right. All right. We'll get that going. The crow's foot or the raven's foot over the gem, I think looks very good. And the back one, I don't know where we're going to put the back one. Maybe we'll switch it. That one will be the back one. And then this one can like kind of glom onto here. Does that work? It doesn't feel good. I think it can just come straight down onto the, like this one is a little bent and this one is just clamped down onto this one. I don't have an intuitive understanding of the shapes and sizes of a crow's leg, and I assume most other people don't either. So it's not going to look weird unless you really are looking for it. And we'll do the body like this, covering it up a little bit. There we go. Oh, no, Sapley's not here at the moment. Take care, Riley. Okay. All right, I think this is coming together much. There's a moment there where I was like, oh, this is lost. This is, those sirens are for me because this drawing is going to be dead on arrival. But I think it's come out. Okay, I'm gonna do some heavy outlining, some heavy lines to try to really lock in some of these shapes. I want to put this second wing from back here. I'm going to shade that, get that there, push. When I do like really thick lines, what I'm trying to do, and I think it usually works, is bring that line forward closer. This used to feel really counterintuitive to me because it's darker, right? And you learn early on in art school and stuff that things that are darker are further away. But also, so the reason this works the opposite way is that things that are closer you pay more attention to. And so by making it dark like that and thick lines, you're actually like making it highlighted. You're using darkness to highlight it, but it's still a highlight, and highlighted things pop out. And so that's why for some drawings, these thick lines are things that are closer to you, even though they're darker. Okay, we're just going to do a little shading. All right, this is the messiest one. It's the most unconventional one. I had to draw a giant crown. Most unconventional for the rules that I set up, not like, oh man. Yeah, I should have drawn this whole thing like much smaller. I think that would have made it a lot easier. We wouldn't have to get all this detail on these gems and stuff. But it's not bad. All right, what time is it? 9:30? Okay. I think I will probably call it a night. We'll go over all of them. I'll thank everybody. Thank you, everybody. We have the craven, because I don't know if it's a crow or a raven, sitting on top of a crown. Crown is like, la, da, da, da. It has no idea what's going on. As far as the crown's concerned, the ground is king. Okay. Then we have the first drawing we did, the little blue bird. Lovely little blue bird. Then we have this one. Not an orchid, a walrus. Then we have giraffe. The giraffe is the king of carrot flowers. We didn't know when we started. We thought it was the skull. Giraffe's tongues are usually like black. I just have its tongue sticking out. I think that's funny. Ha ha ha. And then we have the late king. If he was only on time. Because it's spooky season. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. I'm going to try to stream again tomorrow. Around the same time. I try for 7 Eastern time. I don't always make it. Thanks again. Bye. Hang on.